unpopular opinion, but I don't think you should remain friends or stay connected to family members who are associated with your known enemies. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I want to have a conversation about this. For context, if you want to go back and watch that classic clip of Wendy Williams' show. But this woman is talking about how she's been friends with a woman for 15 years, and that woman is now friends with one of her known enemies. And I think that people should avoid being friends with people that are like this, that are connected to their known enemies, or they are those friends that are that are quick to say, well, I don't choose sides and I like both of you and this and that, and I'm not going to pick and choose. Those friends that are kind of the fence straddlers is what I like to call them. And I also think the same goes for family. And here's why. I've spent many years working with people who are in abusive relationships and still continue to do so, and even in the legal system. And one of the things that that may not have occurred in this video, but it happens a lot, that people often underestimate how much it could be not just a psychological issue or cause psychological problems later on, but it can literally affect your life. You guys have heard me come on here and talk about stalkers. You've heard me come on here and talk about abuse situations. When you have people that straddle the fence or that continue to associate with your known enemies, those people cannot be trusted. And a lot of times what often ends up happening, and that actually gets people even to the point of having their lives taken away, that really isn't talked about enough, is people are connected with these straddlers, and these straddlers turn around and put them in danger with their known enemy. They're giving their personal information out. They are sort of backbiting and talking badly about you and joining in cahoots with that person. They're giving your sensitive information out. They may even be, in a lot of cases where you have abuse dynamics, you have people that have inappropriate relationships with your abuser and or your stalker. And so even if your situation isn't that extreme, I always say, always choose people who choose you first and never question their loyalty to you. Loyalty is such a little word, but it has a big meaning. And you need to align yourself with people that have the same value and loyalty. You never want to be in a situation with anybody, I think, and maybe that's just me, but I don't think you ever want to be in a situation where you have to question someone's loyalty to you. You never want to question whether or not your safety would be at risk. You never want to question whether or not your confidence would be at risk. You never want to question whether or not somebody really actually has your back when you're not in the room. What is a person saying about you when you're not in the room? Who is that person buddying up with? How deep does that connection go? And I'll tell you something else that happens. Like I worked at a prison for several years, and one of the things that happens is overfamiliarity. And overfamiliarity is when you have a civilian, a line staff person that gets way too comfortable conversing with inmates and having a relationship and a rapport with inmates. And, next thing you know, what are they doing? They're having sex with inmates. They're bringing in contraband, such as drugs or phones and things like that. But they're also giving up personal information. And again, that may be more of an extreme situation for a lot of people. But I think that's a great contrast to like people who know that they're supposed to be doing things the right thing, all right? So it's not a question about whether or not they know what they're doing is wrong or right. They're just choosing to do what they want to do to get their validation and feed their ego. And in the same time, when they're doing that, they don't even care. It doesn't even matter that they're betraying you and they're putting their life at risk, as long as they are selfishly getting their needs met. So never, ever, ever stay friends or connected to someone who questions, whether or not they should be exclusively loyal to you. And yes, while I get it, we're all adults, and yes, I don't need to tell people who they could be friends with. At the end of the day, you have to be smart about who you allow in your life, because, you know, people will betray you for their own selfish reasons if you're not careful.